Aloha, worlds, and welcome to another episode of The Queer and the Queen. I'm Jacoby Jones, your in-house queer, and today we have back with us our polyamorous guru, Miss Nice Nasty. Welcome back to the show.
Of course. Thank you for having me again.
Awesome. So before we get started, make sure you scroll down and you click that subscribe button and ding on the notifications so you can know when I post episodes. So let's get into it. I loved having you on. And actually, the viewers loved having you on. I received so many DMs and messages and emails from people just like, oh my God, that show is so fascinating. Oh my God, she's so interesting. So with that, let's start the show off with a question from the viewer. Question today is from a viewer in Seattle, Washington. She wants to remain anonymous, but it is a female. The question goes as, what do you do when you have waves of jealousy and start thinking jealous thoughts? Other than communication, how can you help me navigate my feelings? What do you think about that? How can we help this woman from Seattle navigate her jealousy? It seems like she's keeping it from them and just trying to deal with it on her own.
Okay. There is no other way other than communication. You have to communicate that feeling of jealousy. And sometimes too, what helps me is I analyze it myself. Like, what event exactly made me jealous and what about it? And try to process that first before I bring it to my partners to have a discussion about it, because I don't like to bring up a discussion. And when they say, well, what makes you feel that way? And I don't have a specific example or what I would like to see happen, like, hey, I felt this way. And, this is just a suggestion. Maybe next time we could do it this way, kind of thing. Jealousy on my part in our polyamorous relationship doesn't really exist at this time. And we're going on 3 years of being together as a polyamorous triad. And that's because we talk about everything. Uncomfortable conversations we talk about. We just get it out the way. There's some tears involved. There's some hugging, some reassurance. But the conversation has to happen because it's unfair to think your partner could just guess without you verbally saying it. It is so unfair to your partners to just let them assume or let them wonder what's going on. You owe it to yourself. Bring it up. It can be uncomfortable. Talk about it.
I actually will agree with that 100%. There is no way to deal with this without communication because no one reads minds. They might not even, I'm sure we've all been in a situation, or I think you may have mentioned one before, where you think everything's fine and then someone's really suffering in silence, and communication is really the only way. And like you said, it's important to evaluate where that's coming from before you bring it up to them. So anonymous lady from Seattle, Washington, ain't no way around it, girl. You're going to have to talk to him. You're going to have to talk to him. Yeah. It is Mental Health Awareness Month, okay? And with that, there has been a mental health alert in Maryland. Listen to this. A woman, actually, you're the one who piqued me to this story. A woman named Miss Gail Matwally from Maryland, has set fire to the rain. This woman is 47 years old. Somebody done pissed her off. One of her roommates, it sounded like it was a roommate situation. She is 4 people that lived in the house. 2 was going to work. Miss Matwally and some other lady that lived in the basement was there. And Miss Matwally was not having it that day. And she set the house on fire in several different locations around the house. And then went outside, sat on a lawn chair and watched the bitch burn. Can we talk about mental health for a second, please? Because
listen, okay. So if anyone wants to watch the full video, I'm sure Jacoby might link it, but also to go to my page, Miss Nice Nasty on Instagram. I have the full video uploaded with her mugshot that she is just so ecstatic with herself.
Smiling in the mugshot. Oh my God.
She's smiling. She's smiling, and she has a yellow shirt on that just screams happiness all around. Listen, baby, this is what happens when you don't have good coping skills to use your words. This is what happens when you let shit boil over. And it's and because listen, I am sure this is not the first argument or incident that has happened. But if it is, she needs to be admitted to a mental hospital ASAP. If this is the first occurrence of this happening, and she snapped to this degree. She went from 0 to 1,000 quickly.
I mean, she burned the house down and sat in front of it and watched it burn.
Watched it burn. But you lose that balance in your mental health when you allow things to build up.
True.
And this is a case, and I'm not certain if this is the case, but this is an example of what can happen when you hold on to anger and you've had your fill. And now we're lashing out in the most severe way, honey. And you have that remorse after, like, what the fuck did I just do? But her mugshots, honey, said, I am pleased. I let that bitch burn. I did a great job. Kudos to me. I deserve a cookie. That's what that mugshot says. That mugshot does not say remorse.
She was smiling. I feel like she needs a new dental plan because she wasn't showing no teeth, and she was smiling. She was smiling with the whole. Speaking in the concept of crimes and, jail sentences. By the way, Miss Matt Galley is sitting in a detention center. Not a prison, not a jail cell. She is in a detention center until she goes to court to be sentenced for her crimes. And I find it ironic that a 47-year-old woman is not in jail or in prison, and they're holding her in a detention center that actually, I looked up the center that people from the ages of around 14 to 24 go to. This woman's 47 years old. With that being said, though, there's a new award-winning film out called Two Distant Strangers. I asked you to watch it so we could conversate about this because I saw it's a 32-minute short film, and it literally was so shell-shocking for me. The story is about a Black man who wakes up to the best day of his life with a woman that he just met, and then it turns into the worst day of his life, and he keeps reliving it like Groundhog's Day. I won't give away too much because I really think you should go check it out. But what did the movie do for you? How did it make you feel?
It was a trigger for me, honestly. And I will say, for anyone that wants to watch it, I believe that you should watch it. It is a trigger warning because of our current climate culture that we're living in right now with police brutality, excessive force, people of color dying because of, police not using good judgment, in my opinion. It was definitely a trigger warning for me. And when I watched it, I was just so furious, I think, all over again. Every single time he woke up, I was furious again, because it's like, that's all we want to do is get home. I believe all of us persons of color want to get home safely. And just watching this over and over, it was like just so gut wrenching. And then this morning, so I went to bed last night after watching. And then this morning when I wake up, I have like breaking news on my phone that Derek Chauvin, the police officer who was recently found guilty of murdering, Mr. George Floyd, his attorneys are now like going for a mistrial. So that just put me in a whole bunch of emotions as well.
Now, how does that work? So, you told me a little something about that, but how does this mistrial thing work? Like, what are they trying to say exactly? It was something about a juror, right?
Juror misconduct. One of the jurors, they said that they had never went to a demonstration or any kind of Black Lives Matter thing. And there's a picture of him with an MLK shirt on, or that says take your knee off my neck kind of thing. And so they're saying, based on that photo that presented itself and how he answered his questions, he was not truthful. So that is the reason why. And also to Maxine Waters' statement that she made. And I don't know the statement verbatim, like word for word, but there was some statement that Maxine Waters made that they're also saying is another reason for mistrial.
You know what that just made me think of, though? It made me think of, you had to know this already.
Yeah.
I feel like they held on to this information in case they lost the case so that they could try to get the case thrown out and overturned. They already knew this. They already knew that Black man, they had seen him in that shirt somewhere. They're just holding on to this what's the word when, like your savior or whatever, like when.
Yeah, that is the Hail Mary. That's the Hail Mary.
Hail Mary. Yes, your Hail Mary.
What I want to say about that is, and I think is very important that I don't want people to lose sight of, is that if this is a mistrial, it is so unfortunate to George Floyd's family because they will have to live through that testimony again. And the prosecutor did such a phenomenal job, because I follow this case. The prosecutor's expert witness, they did a phenomenal job. So even if it gets mistrial, and we are going to prosecute, and when I say we, I feel like I'm a part of the prosecuting team, right, is that we are going to slam dunk and win this again, because the testimony was so important from the expert witness that the prosecutors had. And, the man is on tape. Come on, he's on video. killing this man.
Right.
And this is my opinion, and
I
I'm going to
mean,
stand
for
firm on
8
it.
minutes,
So,
the fact that this is even a case, it blows my mind. Speaking of trauma, Khloe Kardashian and her cheating ass Tristan are back together, right? And it has been alleged that this sweet little young thing is saying that he's been sliding her DMs, trying to cheat, trying to do this, trying to that. Khloe really hasn't said much, but the world or their fans are up in roar. Why are you still with him? Why are you putting up with this? Why are you going through this? And Vivica Fox was stated on the record of saying it's clear that she's just dickmatized because she know that he ain't no good. She has watched him cheat. She watched him be on camera with her sister's best friend, and yet she is still taking him back.
yeah.
Do you think that Khloe is going through trauma that she's creating for herself because she's dickmatized, or do you really just think that she's a fool in love? Like
I want to say, just like an abused person, right? We don't know what she's going through, if Tristan is a narcissist or not, and what their relationship is behind closed doors. It is so sad and so unfortunate. And we're just on the outside looking in.
Very true.
Personally, for myself, honey, I would have already dropped Tristan a long time ago when this whole thing happened with Kylie's best friend or whatever the case may be. And I think whenever you make it easy for someone that cheats on you, they're going to do it again, but it's a little bit smarter. Yep. Now, this young lady, I first saw her video on TikTok that she has a TikTok. I can't remember her name now, but anyway. Oh, excuse me. That's drinking too much, honey. Too much Cinco de Mayo celebration.
Happy Cinco de Mayo, everyone.
Cinco de Mayo, honey. I can't even say what's in this cup, honey, but it's nice. Yeah. Anyway, and interestingly, today, Tristan hit her with a cease and desist talking about the relationship. I saw that on the Shade Room. But not because he hit her with a cease and desist doesn't mean it's not true, honey. Okay.
Right. It just means I want you to stop talking about it.
Stop talking about it. I feel bad for Khloe, but honey, Khloe put herself in that position. And like anyone in a relationship, only you know when you've had enough. Only you know when you're tired of looking like a fool on a national level, on an international level, because the Kardashians are famous people, honey. So how many times are you going to have this man have you looking like a fool, like Bubba the fool?
So maybe he's saying some shit to her and she wants to trust him so bad. But that also speaks volumes to me, to the individual's self-worth. Like, why do you want to believe this person so much and not believe yourself? Yourself is telling you they ain't shit. They gonna always do this. This is who they are. But then they're saying, no. These hoes is lying on me. I'm loyal to you. Excuse me. And you just want to believe them so bad.
I know, because you love that person so bad. But we talked about this before, what love is. And I've told you this, like, you know, love doesn't come from me right away. It comes like with action, your respect, your loyalty, handling yourself accordingly when we're not together. That way I don't have to question anything you're doing. Like when my spouses leave, there is no question in my mind. And I can't imagine what Khloe goes through when Tristan is away playing basketball or, training camp or whatever. Do you really trust that mental energy you're putting into that emotion is not good for your mental health, No. So for all I know, they could be polyamorous people like myself. And this broad just spilled the beans and made it look like Tristan is cheating. I have no idea. The other thing that I want to jump on real quick, you know how whenever straight men, right, that they have a woman that they're with and that woman say cheats with another friend, that those boys, they keep on being boys, they keep on being friends, you know what I mean? Like their bond doesn't change, right? But whenever women, for example, with Jordan Woods, I don't know if she actually had sex with Tristan, it was just a flirtatious thing, I don't really know the background of it. But I just find it so interesting that people attacked, Jordan, and that relationship with Kylie and Jordan severed and the Kardashians severed. And I understand that Jordan does have a what do you call it? Like some sort of she owes loyalty and respect to them, or whatever the case may be, because the relationship. And I don't know how it came about. I don't know if she said Tristan was putting the moves on me or Tristan said, I don't know how it came about. But I wish women would stick with women more so than to just abandon their friendship because of these men relationships that are so fucking trifling. You know what I mean?
I think it's so messed up, like you're saying, because they banished poor Jordan. And Jordan was on. So I watched the Red Table Talk. Jordan was on there. They kissed. She was drunk. They were at a club. She was sitting on his lap. He sat her on his lap, invited her back to a house party. at the house party, did the same thing. He moved in and they kissed, and she admitted, I let it happen, but I instantly knew, and then she removes herself from the party. But they banished poor Jordan, and yet Tristan is still like going to family trips and shit.
Yeah, and I really believe that there's great qualities to Jordan. If nothing else, she should be thanked for exposing the cheating dirtbag that he is. I would not, me personally, I would not have just ended my relationship with my friend. I don't know why we're so forgiving to men and their bullshit, but we're not forgiving to our friends. You know what I mean? Like, yes, that is my friend, and I am, it's when alcohol is involved. I know people might be like, no, alcohol is not an excuse. We have made many people have made multiple poor decisions while they're under the influence. I am one of those people. It doesn't make me a bad person. And I just felt bad for Jordan. I felt really bad. And Kylie, that's her sister, Khloe's sister. So of course you're going to form alliance and stick with your sister kind of thing. But, I would say, hey, Tristan is a fucking dirtbag. And he proved himself again right now this time with this new mistress that popped up, or this new side chick, or whatever people want to call her, groupie.
Well,
and he's always going to be that way. I don't think he's going to change.
He's never going to change. And you bring up a good point. You said, why the women give guys these chances and like they want to throw their friendships away. And it made me think of this statement that they used to say way back in the day, where, boys will be boys, or men being men, or he just being a man. So I think that kind of instillment in society and that kind of putting up with the bullshit over the generations, you know what I mean? 100 years ago is really not that long ago, coming from thinking about what kind of how women were treated in 100 years ago. So now, right? And I think that men get past this because they're used to men acting like this, and women, the friendship gets thrown away is because I didn't expect you to be disloyal, but I expected him to, so I can forgive him for that because I expected it, but I didn't expect this from you, so how dare you? We're done, it's over. You know what I mean? I know how financial statements get you all moist and hot and bothered, girl.
Tell me, honey. Talk to me.
So on a hot news alert, baby, Bill Gates and Melinda Gates are getting a divorce. Bill is on the market. I will do whatever he wants me to. I'm ready for a trip around the world. I will suck your gray hairs off your balls. Bill Gates, let me know where I sign up and what you need me to wear, because I want to date a billionaire. Question in this whole concept is something like this, right? I've been seeing it all over the internet. Would you, say some billionaire, would you leave your situation to go be in financially, in a whole nother world? Because trust me, I've dated a man who had millions of dollars before. And when you don't have to look at price tags, the world is there's a whole nother world where you can be like, let's take a trip, wake up, and be like, you know what? I feel like going to London right now.
Yeah. So for myself, I would only leave if I could take my partners with me, because we're polyamorous. So, and look,
I love that response.
I don't need all the coinage, honey, but just give me a little bit of something. But yeah, I would have to bring my partners along. I will say this is that I have dated a physician doctor before, a specialty doctor. And I will say this, money, of course, makes things a whole lot easier in life, right? That you could just wake up, like you said, and say, hey, I just want to do this, I want to do that. This man that I dated for a long time did very well for me. He was not married, but he was just so much older. He's from the Middle East. So we had a different in culture kind of thing.
Alibaba. Okay, girl.
He was way older than I was. And oh my God, if he's watching the show, we were never, ever intimate, believe it or not. But he was just
wait a minute. So what was it? What kind of arrangement was this? We need to clear this up, because you never slept with him.
No.
And did he do? Like, I mean, was he like taking you on trips and buying you things?
Yeah, paid my rent, paid my car notes. I was going through school.
Do he got a gay brother?
Took me nice places, did everything basically for me financially, just really took care of me. I didn't have to worry about a lot of things.
You know what? I'm so envious of shit like this, because women, the power of the pussy is so fucking real. Because
there was none, though. There was none. He wasn't interested in that.
Still, girl, That was the, I mean, come on now. I mean, there are some good souls out there that just want to do nice things for people. I'm one of them. But when it comes to like dating and stuff like that, ultimately the goal is to slide on in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So granted, you didn't give it up, but that was his goal, maybe.
He
you
never,
know what I mean?
well, this is the thing. I wouldn't have mind giving it up, but that just wasn't his interest. Like he wasn't like, you know, he would like give me massages and stuff like that. And we would go to like nice restaurants and stay at nice like resorts. And, you know, we just did a lot of nice things together that he paid for 100%. And I never let him on because I really did genuinely love him. I do still have love for him, but I don't want to tell his business, but anyway, there's other reasons why we just were not sexual people together.
Micro penis. Was he a micro penis?
He was not as micro as the other guy, but he just like, he wasn't micro like the other guy we spoke about in previous shows. He just had a lot of body hair, and hair is a turnoff for me. I just cannot do body hair at all. Like he was like a big bear, like just all over. And then I just could not search to find anything in a jungle, if you know what I mean. Like I was not down for that.
That's why me and my last sugar daddy didn't work out, because I was just like, I can't do this.
But Bill Gates can get it. Just let's get back. Bill Gates or Melinda, whichever one wants me, honey, they could just go ahead and hit me up in my inbox. I'm ready.
You know, Melinda to me is not an unattractive woman, but I can't wait to see the sugar baby Melinda shows up with at some event, because you already know she gonna pull a whole Madonna. I feel like she gonna start dating these 27-year-old Puerto Rican men from pornos with 12-inch dicks, but somebody finna knock the cobwebs off that Melinda Gates pussy. I can see this coming a mile away.
I think that's for Bill. I don't think that for Melinda for some reason. I don't think that she will be dating someone else or anything like that. I really don't think that. Like not a younger version or a younger anything. I think if anything, a man her age or probably older. Bill, however, I think Bill gonna probably date somebody in their 20s.
I think both of them will. I think Bill is going to start having some young bitches on his yacht, and I think Melinda is going to start having a slew of male porno stars just hanging out around her. I foresee it.
Listen to this. He just gifted her $2 billion in stock the day he filed for divorce. If they split everything 50-50 down the middle, there was no prenup. Yeah.
I know. She is to get $62.5 billion. I can't. I mean, my groins get warm when I just say the word $billion. Okay, so now it's time for my favorite part of the show, the hot and spicy question and answer. We're only gonna do a couple today. Don't be scared. I'm not gonna do you too dirty, but we're gonna do some hot and spicy questions. Are you ready?
Go for it.
Okay, so do you think sexting is appropriate or inappropriate?
In what situation?
In a relationship, like in relationships, and this is a fair question, because I have met only women who are just like, that's disgusting. I would never do that. Like sexting is gross. Like I can't be having no evidence out there.
I love sexting.
Really?
I love sexting. I do it all the time. Yeah, I do all the time. Really? I do all the time. That is how we keep.
Girl, you do it. You do it all the time.
Yes, all the time. Because like, for example, my husband yesterday, this is TMI, but whatever, because my son watches this show too, by the way. And,
hey, son.
Yeah, he's 19, so whatever. My husband took him somewhere yesterday, and I'm taking photos after the shower, sexting it to him or whatever. And I'm just like, why hasn't he answered it? Like, what's going on? Like, I felt a little bit like, oh, did he not like what I sent? Not realizing the man had left his dang on phone at home in the bedroom on the damn dresser. So I was getting self-conscious, like, oh my God, what happened? He did not respond to my sexting. And then he came home, and I was like, Daddy, I said, didn't you say that I was texting you? He was like, my phone sent me an alert that I have some photos, but I left my phone at home. So I was like, okay, cool. Because he couldn't see the photos on his phone on his Samsung Galaxy Watch. He had to wait till he got home. So yeah. Honestly, I do it all the time.
I'm not a sexter.
Really?
I'm not a sexter. I like having sex. But I'm not like, if some guy hits me up and texts me and says like something dirty, I will call him. And I will have, phone sex.
Okay.
But I won't like Be like, ooh, question number 2. What is the most spontaneous sexual experience you've ever had?
There's so many of them. It's so hard to tell, like to pick one.
Okay. You
Uh
know what though? I kind of feel the same way, but
yeah, there's so many of them. I will share one. Like in Red Rock Canyon, one day we were driving back from a date, and it was like in the middle of the canyon, in the Mojave Desert, like probably about 1 o'clock in the morning. We drove off into the canyon and just got busy.
You know, my 20s are a blur. So my 30s, it would be like what I would have to remember. And I don't, like, I mean, I've done it in some weird places, like,
Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
Tell me.
When I was 21, and I think he was like 18 or 19, I drove to the other side of the island because this dude wanted to meet me, and we were like talking, pick him up, and then we're just riding around and talking, and we find it's late night. And long story short, I ended up fucking him on the hood of my car on an empty golf course
Lord.
at like 2:00 in the morning.
Hawaii nights.
Hawaii nights. So that kind of yo hey golf course know me real well. Well, thank you so much for being here again. We got to do this so much more often. The viewers love you. Yes. I have so many polyamorous questions for you. So we're going to do a polyamorous guru drop every time you come on. Yes. And we will slowly get to your questions. Continue to send them in. Continue to ask whatever you want to know about myself or Christy. I'm going to link Christy down. Make sure you go check her out on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram. Go check out her Nosy Neighbors show. I love it. It gives me a hoot every time I watch it. And as I always say, don't forget to smile.